Hi, I'm Shelley, welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is for a knitted Colourblock cardigan. I've got three colours. One of them is going to be used for the rib as well as in the actual cardigan itself. And I'm making the biggest size, so I'm going to cast on 89 stitches, and all the other stitches with 5mm knitting needles, I should have said, and chunky yarn. So I'm going to cast on 89 stitches, and the other amounts of stitches will be on the screen. So you don't want to be watching me just casting on stitches, so we'll skip ahead to the next bit. So all we're going to do now is work 12 rows in knit 1, purl 1, rib. Now we're going to add in the next colour and proceed to work 30 rows in stocking stitch. So knit 1 row, purl 1 row, which I'm pretty sure all of you know how to do. So yeah, 30 rows in the colour pink. Well, whatever colour you can obviously choose whichever colours you like for yours, but I'm using brown, pink and cream. So yeah, knit this row, purl the next row, and continue with that until you've got 30 rows of stocking stitch. So the next thing we're going to do after working 30 rows in colour 2 is join in colour 3. And then we're going to work, excuse the different colour needles, my bamboo circular needle broke, so I've ordered a new stainless steel one. So we're going to just work, continuing we're going to continue in stocking stitch and work 18 rows in this colour. Now we're going to knit 2 together at the beginning and end of this row and the next, this row and the next 5 rows after that. So knit 2 together at each end of the knit rows and purl 2 together at the beginning of all the purl rows. So now we've done the reductions, and as you can see I've rejoined the yarn that we used for the rib border at the bottom, and we're going to continue working straight in stocking stitch in this colour until the armhole measures 23 centimetres. So now we're going to begin the left front by casting on 16 stitches. So we're just going to knit the first row. So at the beginning of the purl row we're going to cast on 4 stitches. So purl, drop the stitch onto the left hand needle, and then we're just going to purl this row, and then we're going to repeat the 2 rows once again. So purl to the end of the row and then repeat the 2 rows once more. So the next row is going to be a knit row. And then we're going to cast on 3 stitches at the beginning of the purl row. And then we're just going to purl to the end of this row and then repeat the 2 rows one more time. So continue to purl to the end of this row, and as I said, repeat these 2 rows one more time. Now we're going to work 4 rows, and we're going to increase at the front edge on every one of those rows. So knit to the end and increase 1 stitch at the end, and then increase by purling, and then cast 1 on at the purl end. So purl to the end and then do the next knit row with an increase at the end and the next purl row with an increase at the beginning. So now we're going to work 8 rows in stocking stitch, and we're going to increase on this row and every alternate row. So that's 8 rows increasing on alternate rows. So next we're going to work 5 rows, and we're going to increase on the neck edge again on this row and then the following 4th row. So 5 rows increasing on 1st and 4th row plus another row. So now we're going to work 4 rows straight in the pink, and then we're going to change to the cream, or I should say colour 2, and add in colour 3 after another 19 rows. No, wait a minute. 4 rows in colour 2 and then 19 rows in colour 3. So now we're going to decrease, we're going to work 6 rows, and we're going to decrease at the armhole edge on every one of the 6 rows, and at the same time, I just knitted 2 together, and at the same time we're going to reduce the neck edge on this row and the following 5th row, whereupon we will change colour. So at the end of the row, we're going to knit 2 together again. I'm going to turn, and the second row we'll just purl and then purl 2 together at the end, and then just for the next 4 rows we're just going to decrease at the armhole edge, and then on the 5th row we're going to decrease the neck edge again. So now we're going to rejoin colour 1, or A, and we're going to work 30 rows, increasing on the neck edge only every 5th row as before. So, and then after that, after the 30 rows, decreasing on the neck edge, we're just going to work straight after that until the armhole matches the back, the armhole on the back. So this is row 1, and on row 5 you're going to do your next increase on the neck edge, and then every 5th row after that, and work 30 rows, and then work straight until the front matches the back. We'll start the sleeve now, so we're going to cast on 41 stitches. "12 rows of knit 1, purl 1, rib." I should have mentioned that I'm using 5mm needles for the rib. So 12 rows in knit 1, purl 1, rib. Now we're going to join colour 2 and work 30 rows, increasing at the end of the 5th row and every following 9th row. So 30 rows of pink, increase at each end of the 5th and every following 9th row. Now we've joined in colour 3, and we're going to work 30 rows in colour 3, and we're still going to continue increasing at both ends on every 9th row. So just 30 rows of knit 1 row, purl 1 row, and increasing each end of every 9th row. Now we're going to reintroduce colour A, and we're going to work another 17 rows in colour A, continuing to increase as you did before. So 17 rows colour A, and continuing to increase every 9th row. Now we're going to work 6 rows And we're going to knit 2 together at the beginning and end of the knit rows, and purl 2 together at the beginning of an end of the purl rows, and work 6 rows decreasing at each end of every one of the 6 rows. Now we're going to cast off 4 stitches at the beginning of the next 2 rows. And then cast off 5 stitches at the beginning of the next 4 rows. Then cast off 6 stitches at the beginning of the next 2 rows, and then cast off the remaining stitches. So as you can see, the shoulder seams, I've sewed together the shoulder seams, and we're now going to start making the border. So we're going to go to the right front, the bottom of the right front where we did the increases, and we're going to rejoin colour A for 1, and we're going to pick up and knit 16 stitches along the cast on edge. Just continue to pick up the stitches till you get to this bit, and then we're going to pick up 34 stitches along the shaped edge. Persevere. So next we're going to pick up and knit 22 stitches along the front edge. So yeah, 22 stitches along the straight edge. And next we're going to pick up and knit 45 along the shaped edge. So first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just continue to pick up 45 stitches along the neck edge. And finally pick up 16 stitches. I should say, don't worry too much if you can't pick up the exact amount of stitches, because as long as you've picked them up close to each other, that's fine. So we're going to pick up 16 stitches across the back of the neck. Remember, you're only going to halfway. So yeah, just continue with the next few stitches. So for the next row, we're going to purl 3, we're going to increase in the next stitch, purl 2, and increase in next stitch, purl 2, increase in next stitch, purl 2, and just repeat that to the end of the row. And all we're going to do next is work in knit 1, purl 1, rib for the entire row. And it's a long row, but just continue in knit 1, purl 1, rib to the end of the row. So for the next row, we're going to continue in the rib pattern, and we're going to just work 17 stitches and turn. So then continue until you've ribbed 17 stitches, turn and just rib back across to the beginning again. So for this row, we've just ribbed across the 17 stitches that we've previously worked. So we worked 17 stitches twice, and we're at the beginning again. And now we're going to work 21 stitches and turn. So rib 21 stitches, turn and work back across. And for this row we're going to Work 24 stitches in rib as before, and then turn and work across back to the beginning. And including this row, we're going to do 20 rows, increasing the amount of stitches by 4 each time. So the next one will be 28, the next one after that will be 32, and then keep doing that until you've worked 20 rows. So now we're just going to work right across from the beginning to the end of the rib, and we're going to do 3 rows of that. So all of the rib stitches. So carry on and just working rib all across this row right to the very end, and then do another 2 rows. So for the next row, we're going to put in, you just need 1 buttonhole for this cardigan, and we're going to put it approximately in line with the armhole, so around here. So put a marker where you want the buttonhole, and then when you get there, cast off 2 stitches, and then cast them back on again on the following row, and then do 4 more rows of rib. After that, it's just sewing on the button, sewing all the pieces together, putting in the arms and sewing up the side seams, and you'll be done.